Good job. Way to go.
Okay.
What a pro streamer.
Okay. So, Phantom.
Yep.
After you were stopped by the guard who... They couldn't really do anything to you because you weren't really doing anything wrong. You put on a bit of a show for the kids, trying to just discern any sort of information. The least you know is that people are aware of these disappearances, but you weren't able to find out anything else of particular use, unfortunately.
Right.
So,
I earned some money, though.
you did earn a little bit of coin, yes. So you decide that, well, you had decided that the next best step was to go out into the field and see what you could find, where most of these disappearances had seemingly taken place at. So you make your way towards the poorer part of Circa. The first thing you notice is that the buildings here are mostly made of wood, as opposed to, well, most of the rest of the city being made of stone. There's a lot less lighting here. It's not nearly as well lit as the rest of the city, and there currently doesn't seem to be a whole lot of people roaming around. But if you were to look into the windows in the houses, you might see like somebody like looking down at you, or people just doing something within their homes, perhaps if they have their windows open. Also,
Okay.
your mic is making some sort of a buzzing sound there.
Oh, can you still hear the buzzing?
It's a lot less loud now. Yeah.
I mean, it's gone again.
Okay. I think my face got too close to the mic.
So, what would you like to do?
First, I'd like to kind of gauge the environment. Are we talking like? Okay, all the houses are wood. Do I see any? I'm gonna obviously have my puppet. I'm gonna have my puppet walk around. Again, I'm gonna try to put on another show in the slum and see if I can just attract any of the loner, maybe some orphan or poor children that may be interested in my show, and see if they may appear.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a talk face roll.
Okay.
And what are you like doing in this performance? Are you just having him dance around or something?
Yeah, I'm gonna have him dance around while I'm like making a little tune out of like maybe I'm stomping my feet to make a little beat for the puppet to dance to. You said face and talk roll?
Correct. And if you have a specialty that would be applicable, you can add that as
well. Let me see what I got that I could do with that. Nothing that could help. No.
Okay.
So. It's okay. It's two
10-sided die.
Yep. Oh shoot. One second.
Okay.
Almost done. Threw me off. I tried to put in the right thing. There we go. Oh, that's
nice.
what I'm talking about.
Very nice.
That's what I'm talking about.
So you begin to, stomp around in the snow a little bit, as your puppet is sort of like dancing around and, in sync with your your stomping. Maybe, you're doing a little bit of a whistle here and there, putting on a tune. And nobody exactly comes out of their house, but you do notice a few people, like, turning their attention to you. Some of them seem, like, perplexed that you're out in the middle of the slum, like, doing whatever it is you're doing. Others seem like intrigued and entertained almost. They go, and they just, like, clap along with your beat, right?
Okay.
And you hear one person in particular, yeah, make him dance.
Okay. I'm going to proceed to make the puppet dance. And as we're dancing, we're obviously marching through the slums to kind of get a good feel of the surroundings. Is anybody like close enough to ask questions to?
You could talk to the people in their, like in their windows or standing out in front of their houses, potentially. Yeah. Most of the people here seem to be Pandoran.
Okay,
There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of variety as far as the races
gotcha.
go.
Nice. I got that going for me, I guess. Um, are there any children?
There are a few children, but they seem to be sticking rather close to their parents. I mean, who could really blame them with all
Gotcha.
this stuff
Okay,
going on?
yeah, that makes sense. Um, I'm just gonna mention the closest person. I'm gonna say the same thing. My puppet's gonna say the same thing that he said to the other children. So I'm gonna use the same rhyme.
Okay. Um, you do your rhyme. I remember it being quite impressive, though I do not remember exactly what it was. It was basically just asking about if they knew anything concerning like the disappearances.
Right.
And let me think here. Um, you hear one child say to his mother standing beside him, "Mommy, Mommy, do you think he's talking about the faceless man?" And very quickly, you notice that the mother seems to like get this very troubled look over her face, and she begins to like hurry herself and her child back inside. Do you try to like approach them?
As I'm gonna gauge her body language and try to get as close as I think would not stir serious concern. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to approach and then her freak out. You know what I mean?
I got
So I
you.
want to get as close as I can without making her appear that she's gonna freak out.
Well, she already seems kind of concerned. Go ahead and give me a face talk roll as you are approaching.
So I realized that I actually had a 5 to my face and talk instead of a 4 that I rolled last time.
Okay, that's
So
good.
I gotta make sure that 9.
Yeah, as you get closer, she seems to just get like way more freaked out by you, and
Okay.
she like
Yeah.
rushes inside and like slams the door behind her.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm gonna kind of like walk like as I do my little jig. How much further is like how much further does the slums go? Like was she at the very beginning of the slums? Is she like towards the end? Like where are we at?
I'll say that you walked like maybe part way through the slums, like halfway,
Okay,
when you
so
decided to do your show.
is there more people that I
Uh,
see, or
there
is that
are
really okay?
there are yes.
Um, okay. How close would you gauge like the next group of people that might not that are just noticing the show?
Um, maybe like I don't know, 50 feet, perhaps. It's not that far.
Um, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna try to do this really quick. Give me give me 2 seconds.
Okay.
I'm gonna try another rhyme. Okay.
Sounds good to me.
In our town of Circa, faceless man roam about. Where they come from, we don't know. Do you know where they lurk about?
And as you make this rhyme, and as the people hear it, like just this like you just get this weird sort of feeling in your gut, right? That
Mm-hmm.
seems to like immediately just like turn everybody off. The people clapping along, they stop clapping. The people who were like cheering you on, they sort of like go quiet, and there's just this awkward sort of like tension in the air.
Perfect. That's what I needed to know. Okay. All right. I'm gonna head back to the tree that we all agreed to meet at.
Okay.
So as cautiously, like looking about as I can.
Okay. You head back, and it doesn't seem like anybody is particularly interested in following you, or that anyone is like particularly watching you at this moment.
All right. I'm just gonna, the bar is close to there too, right?
There are, yeah.
All right. I'm just gonna mosey over to the bar, and if I see them outside, I'm gonna do a little puppet show in the bar and wait for these people that I'm planning on working with to show up.
Sounds good. And with that out of the way, let's switch back over to our other group. So, you're in Rocash's quarters, and you've been looking through this area. As I said before, it seems to be vandalized, but none of the belongings are missing. No valuables seem to be missing. There's, like some stray like coin about, perhaps some other sort of valuables like jewelry, but nothing else of value. Nothing of value seems to be gone. It's either they were a very, very bad thief, or they weren't looking for anything of, real value here. You found the window broken in the back of the house, and you found footprints leading through the snow. Immediately, one of your group, Takana, he throws himself through the broken window, and he seems to take off in a sprint, almost, following these footprints. Do any of you say anything as he does so?
Well, you're going to find
I'll
out where
immediately
somebody
follow.
was.
He looks back at you for a moment. You caught him just as he was going off, and he says, "The longer we wait, the longer that they have to get away from us. This is very suspicious. They have to be related to these disappearances." Come
Like
on.
I said, you're going to find out where somebody was. You're not going to find out where they are now.
He sort of like shakes his head, and then he continues to like just sprint on down, ignoring what you had said.
Well, I'm going to follow. I say this. Well, I'm going to follow him to see if he doesn't get in any trouble, but I know I'm not very optimistic about the approach.
Gotcha. Okay.
And I follow him. I don't jump out the window. I walk out of the place and go back and follow him at a walk.
Sounds good. All right. What about the rest of the party? Torgwin, and Kasha. What are you two doing?
I'll as he jumps out the window, I'll immediately sprint out through the door and try to stay behind him far enough that he doesn't notice.
Okay, so you're like tailing him. All right, but not like on his ass.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I say a good 10, 15 feet behind.
Sounds good. And Torgwin?
I'm just gonna follow after them because we cannot like split the group apart if we're looking for somebody who is, who is basically trashed this place.
Gotcha. So you follow along. He's really booking it. Takana is like really going after these footprints. Kasha, so you're following. You're probably the closest to him. You hear wings flapping up above. As if you were to look up, you would see Chorus, your flug companion. He's like flying up above. He seems to be looking at something ahead, and he yells down to you, "Ah! He's gone into the sewers!" And after not too much longer, you get to a grate that seems to have been forcefully broken open. Below you, you can hear running water, and the stench is just, well, as you would imagine, it's pretty awful, to say the least. And sure enough, you see two sets of footprints leading into this grate. One of them being Takana's, presumably, and the other being your mystery man or woman. Jonah, he says to the group, we should probably, if we're gonna go down there, we should probably let the other guards know. That way they can send some backup just in case something happens. But I think we should probably get down there in the meantime.
Question. Using shadow magic, is there any way I could relay a message to any of the guards from within the shadows?
Well, something like that would be kind of difficult because it's like over a distance. And it would have to be somebody that you have sort of a connection to. You could probably let your friend Chris know, but you're not sure how useful letting him know would be. He's kind of stuck in this house at the moment.
I see.
Chorus speaks up at this point and he says, I will go and inform the guards of our findings. You can do what you will. And he sort of takes off into the air, presumably to go and, inform the other guards of what has happened. Jonah, at this point, he draws his longsword from the sheath that it's in, and he says, well, there's only one way in, I guess. Are we going?
It's not like we can just leave him in there and wait out here, so yes.
All right, then. And he looks and he peers down into the sewer, and he says, it's not too far of a drop. We should be able to just get in there fine. Just, of course, watch your step. It's kind of dark, too, if anybody's able to make a light of some sort. And he, at that point, he spreads his entire hand out forward, lifts it up slightly, and you see a small flame sort of like generate in his hand as he like jumps down into the sewers. You hear after a moment a splash of water, and he just like goes, okay, you're good to come down now. Do the rest of you follow?
I do.
I do.
Okay. Torgwin?
Yes, with hesitation, but yes.
Okay. So, Kasha,
Well-
you go in first, and then you're followed by Marcus. And then after a brief pause of hesitation, Torgwin jumps in last. Torgwin, you kind of misjudged how deep the water was. And instead of like, well, let's just say this, you're like almost swimming in this sewage, pretty much. Like your head is just above water.
Do
But
I
I'm still
see that?
standing.
Yes, you do see that. Yes.
I reach back and offer him a hand.
I reach out to the hand almost immediately.
And I pull him up.
Okay.
Thank you.
You find a like a side railing almost of stone leading through the sewers. Up ahead of you, you can see a light as it like turns into a corner, but you weren't able to see like who or what was generating this light. Jonah says, I think that might have been Takana. We should hurry and catch up to him. and he begins to, after making his way onto the side, he begins to walk forward cautiously.
Give me a moment. I'm having technical difficulties with my headphones.
Okay. Just let me know when you're good, Kasha.
Can you hear me?
I can. Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Okay. So with that out of the way, I assume everybody follows, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
You see on the stone that you are walking, you see a couple of different sets of footprints leading further in, and you continue to make your way forward. After a moment, you hear just this like shrill, just scream, like "Ah!" from deeper within, and immediately, like you recognize that that's Takana's voice, and Jonah says, "All right, there's no time. We gotta go," and he just begins to like rush forward.
Yeah, as Tasha starts running forward, she uses her clan's shadow magic and jumps into the shadows and hides
Are
as she
you
runs.
are you trying to like enshroud yourself? I take it?
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an attunement willpower roll.
And do you mind giving me my number?
Oh, you don't. Okay.
3,
1 second.
4. That's 4.
Just gotta find your character sheet here real quick. Sorry. Where the hell is it at? Sorry. Just give me 1 second.
No problem.
Okay. You're gonna be rolling +4, and you're looking to get at least a 10. I'll say for this roll.
So that'll be 4d6.
It's 2d10 +4. Okay, and you make it. So you go ahead and you sort of like draw the shadows surrounding you towards you, and they sort of like cloak you just a bit, making you harder to see. I imagine you're sticking a bit away from the light that Jonah is producing for you, because that would kind of like disrupt your spell just a bit.
Correct.
So, yeah. Would the rest of you like to do anything? Cast any spells, anything like that? As you.
Yeah, I'm going to wrap myself in shadow too.
Alrighty. Go ahead and give me an attunement willpower roll. And if you have any specialties, you can, of course, add those on.
I have a specialty in shadow magic of +7.
Alright. Sounds good.
Okay, now if I can get the syntax of this command right.
Man, it's been a minute since I've heard that word, syntax. Holy crap.
And they tax everything nowadays.
Oh, I see what you did there. Syntax.
And it didn't roll anything. I don't know how come I get that wrong.
Okay. Here, you have to put a space between the roll and the 2d10 part.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that should do it. If it doesn't work, I really don't know what the heck is going on.
I mean, that didn't work last time, so I don't know. It might just be somehow bugged.
There we go. Hey, that's a pretty good roll.
Not bad.
Okay. So, yeah, you draw the shadows in around you as well, sticking behind Jonah, and you begin to make your way forward. Torg?
How far is the, like, can I judge how far the scream was?
I would say maybe like 100 feet ahead, perhaps. It's not like an awful distance.
No, I'm just gonna run ahead
Okay,
while they are preparing the spells.
sounds good. So you run ahead.
And
Go ahead, my bad.
if I can spot something, that is.
Okay, so you run ahead with Jonah, just into the fray, perhaps. You have no idea what exactly is waiting for you. And you follow him as he leads you, presumably where the scream came from. And you come into a dead end, seemingly. There's a wall here. And sort of like a... I'm trying to think of how to describe this to you. It's kind of like a roundish sort of room that you find yourself in.
Mm-hmm.
You followed the footprints, of course, and you see 2 sets of them. And it's like he just disappeared. You look around and you don't see anything, perhaps. Go ahead and everybody give me a... I'm trying to think here. What kind of roll should this be? Give me a guts perception roll.
So got some perception in 1. So like this of 4.
You're rolling +4?
So I have two guts and 2 perception.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Jonah will go ahead and do this as well. So,
And I did it.
okay. Yes, I can do that for you. Just give me 1 second, Lilith. I'm gonna have to convert it into a PDF again. No, that's the wrong sheet. God damn it. Give me 1 second, guys. She's just asking me to send her
That's
character
fine.
sheet again.
Don't worry.
Gosh darn it. There you go. I sent it low. Okay. So we got a 20, a 13, and a 9. So here's what I was saying. Or actually, we still got to wait on... I'll go ahead and I'll roll for you, Lilith, while you're trying to load your sheet up, okay? She's got 2 and 1, so... Okay, so from the shadows, Lilith, or I'm sorry, Kasha and Marcus, you're watching from behind, in the shadows, out of sight, and from within the darkness surrounding Jonah and Torgwin, you see 3 shapes begin to move, and you think you can catch the brief glimmer of something, just the light catching on something. But neither Jonah or Torgwin seem to take notice of this. Jonah, he looks to you, Torgwin, he says, "What the hell is going on?" He's
I don't
not
know.
here. And with that, you get the distinct feeling that something is about to happen, like perhaps you're about to be ambushed or something. You don't take it that whatever is in the darkness has any sort of like good intentions for you or your comrades, Marcus, Kasha. What would you like to do?
I'm questioning. Since I'm also shrouded in darkness, would I be able to see whatever's hiding, or is that some completely different type of magic?
You saw like the silhouette of it. It seems to be like humanoid. Seems to be, you know, normal sized, and it seems to be armed.
Can I tell what shape the weapon is?
It's small, like a dagger, perhaps.
Yeah, I see this too, right?
You do, yes. But
Now,
my,
I didn't see any weapons. My character, I don't have any weapons, right?
that's correct. You fight with your magic, mostly.
Hmm. And this person or whatever it is hasn't attacked anyone.
Not yet.
We just don't think it. Well, it's hanging out in the sewer or in a shadow form, so we don't think it's particularly friendly.
Yeah. To give you a little bit more context, they're sort of like spreading out and sort of surrounding Jonah and Torgwin at this point.
I thought we saw one.
No, I said there were like at least 3 you saw.
Okay. Yep. Can I use my fire to attack one of them?
Yes. Yes, you can.
Okay. I've got a +4 for fire. Do I use any of my other things like attunement or anything?
Just use your the number that's next to your fire magic.
Okay.
Hey, I'm questioning. Is the shadow figure in the sewage water or not?
No, it's you followed them into this sort of like round room. It's like a sort of a shoot off from the main sewer.
Okay. Is there any pools of water in any water source in the area?
Yes, there's like a little bit of water like towards the center of the room.
Okay. Could I use my water magic and
Another 13.
bring it up in the air and turn it into an ice spike and shoot it straight towards his weapon?
You can definitely try that. Another 13. Holy crap. Okay. Give me 1 second. Okay, so can you describe the spell that your character is using, Bill?
What she does is all of a sudden she just
No,
goes stiff.
1 sec. I was talking to Bill Kosh. Sorry about that.
Oh, my apologies.
I'm not trying to hit him with some huge ball of fire. I'm just trying to create a small fireball, but nothing big, and hurl it at the person that I can see the most clearly, the one that isn't masked by my comrade, because I don't want to hit him.
Understandable. So you shoot it at the one furthest away, and it just sort of like, I imagine like this sort of like, it's almost like a quick little flick of the wrist, perhaps, as this small ball of flame. It's going to cost 2 mana to use. And it just arcs through the air. Torgwin, you and Jonah are both like caught off guard by this. You just hear this sudden sort of like crackle of flame, and you just watch as this like flies past you. You look towards the darkness of where you had came from, and you see your comrade casting the spell, presumably at you, because you have no idea what is currently happening. And you look back as you hear this sort of like strange cry for a moment. It's like you're not quite sure how to describe it. It's just distorted and unnatural sounding, to say the least. And you look back and you see this figure. Its features are covered in like a shroud of clothing, as it's just hit by this ball of flame all of a sudden.
As I see the fire orb hit that figure, can I cast something like Dispel Illusion or something to find out if there is either a hidden entrance or more of them?
Yes, you can cast Dispel Illusion if you'd like to.
Alright.
I don't see how much mana I have, by the way.
1 second, I'll find where it's at on your sheet real quick. It's just above your stamina. Like if you look where your magic types are, look just
Oh,
above.
okay.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, I got 20. Okay. I see it.
Gotcha. So, Torgwin, you use your dispel illusions. Would you like to describe what this spell looks like when you cast it?
It should be shadow magic, right? Or is it light?
It's radiant.
It's radiant. Okay. Well, I don't really know how the spell looks like. Well, that's out of character now. I don't really know how the spell
That's
would
okay.
look like. So
I can describe it. That's fine.
I mean, I just imagine it being a basically ball of light that just expands basically and dispels the illusion or whatever as it hits the area or target.
Gotcha. So
That's what I imagined it.
all right. So you very quickly, having realized that, this sort of like this hindrance, because you should have seen that guy. Like he was not that far away from you. You should have very easily been able to see him. So immediately your first instinct is, well, there might be more of them, and you cast the spell. This ball of light expands outward from your hand, revealing two other figures. At the realization that they've been found out, they quickly begin to like just rush towards you all at once. And we're going to go ahead and initiate combat. Technically, Marcus made the first move, so now it's going to be one of theirs to make against you guys. So, the first one that you revealed, he quickly like shrugs off the fire. He just like pats himself out as quickly as he can. And you notice, I'll say all of you, notice that there's something off immediately about him. You notice his skin is like unnaturally white. I'm not just talking like pale, but like stark white, like printer paper white, seemingly, as he begins to just rush towards you. He's going to go after you, Torgwin.
All right. Well, my first instinct would be to dodge, so
Okay.
I'm gonna go with that.
All right. He got a 21, so you're looking to beat a 21. Add your 2 hit you to the roll, and you can spend stamina to increase that further, if you wish.
So it's basically just do 2d10 and to hit you.
Yeah.
All right. Where is it? To hit you is 10. Plus 10.
Okay. I'll go ahead and I'll say, if you want to, and this is something I'm going to just test here, you can add stamina, like you can use stamina to boost your roll after you've made it.
Okay.
So just...
that would be 5 or 6, which I would need.
You would have to exceed his roll.
Okay, exceed.
Yep.
So I have 11 stamina. I would need 6.
Yep. So if you spend that, you avoid the attack. Okay. So he.
I mean,
Go ahead, my bad.
no, yeah, we'll expand it. Whatever.
Okay.
It's just so, which means I'm at 5 currently, like 5 left.
Gotcha. So you just lurch yourself out of the way. I imagine just perhaps
Yeah,
jumping backwards.
just jump out of the way. Yeah.
Yeah. As he just rushes forward, he tries to just like come in with a quick stab towards your chest, and you just I'm not going to say dive out of the way, but you pretty much dive out of the way. But you're still on your feet, so don't worry. And he just like looked towards you. Then we're going to switch over to your side. Who would like to make a move here? Marcus already made a move during this first scene, so it'll have to either be Jonah or one of the other players.
I can.
Okay. What would you like to do, Kasha?
Yeah. Does that shadow figure? Does he still have his weapon in hand?
He does. Yes.
Yeah. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use that water that's in the middle of the room and use. I'm going to flavor up my water whip attack and turn into more like a ice spike.
Okay. So
And
are
I'm
you
gonna
trying to like impale his hands, pretty much?
Yeah, and get him to drop whatever weapon he has in his hand.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a roll. There. You're going to spend
Right.
2 mana for that.
All right, give me a moment. Let me figure out my numbers real fast.
Okay. Just use your water magic for the addition. Also, if you wanted to, you can 2D. You didn't type that quite right.
Wait, hold on. Yeah. Oops.
Also, if you wanted to, you can use mana to make it more likely that your spell will hit and succeed. And the more mana you use, the more damage your spell will deal.
I'll go ahead and use 2 extra mana.
Okay. Just make sure you deduct that from your pull, of course. Okay. All right. He's going to try to avoid. And he sees out of the corner of his eye this ice spear suddenly form from the water. And he decides that he's just going to just dodge out of the way. It flies towards him, and he just like ducks underneath it, pretty much, as it just shatters on the stone of the sewers behind you. It's back to them. One of the ones from the side is going to come in and try to attack Jonah. Just stab him in the gut, pretty much. All right. And Jonah will try to avoid, of course. All right. So he turns around just as this this person like comes in, and he just parries against him, like stopping him. He's sort of like locked against him at the moment. It's back to you guys. Torgwin, you are the last player left before the scene ends.
All right.
So what would you like to do?
I will try to blind the guy I just evaded.
Sounds
with
like
magic. That is.
Sounds like a good idea.
So it's basically just 2d10 plus my radiant magic bonus
Correct.
plus specialty, so plus. Hmm.
19. Okay. I'll say that's good enough to do that. It's only going to cost you 1 point of mana to make a flash
All
of
right.
light. So you just, I imagine, just outstretch your hands, perhaps, and a blinding flash of light just emanates outward. You see the figure. He just like puts his hands over his eyes. He's caught completely off guard by this. He just like grunts in pain, and he's just like, as he just sort of like recoils, he drops his weapon on the ground. All right.
All right, nice.
Now it's going to go on to the last assassin and then to Jonah. All right. So the other assassin is going to... What is he going to do? Let's see here. He's going to try to cast a spell on you, Torg.
All right.
You know what would be really useful right now?
Hmm?
Macros. Like, not even fucking kidding. I wonder if I can do that. We'll figure that out later.
It'd be useful if the Phantom was helping in the fight.
Hey man, you shouldn't have broke off from the group, man. This is what happens.
I got all the intel I needed.
Imber Light is a Dark Souls GM.
This is why you don't split the group. Okay. So it's gonna be... Okay. Go ahead and give me a roll, and it's going to be a roll, you're going to roll willpower 2 times. Like, add it 2 times to your roll, rather.
All right. Willpower. Yikes.
Oof. So,
Nice rolls.
So, you don't see the spell cast, but all of a sudden, you just feel like everything is slower. Like, you're seeing like almost like double, and everybody's voices and the sounds through the sewers just seem like completely like just off. It's like kind of like that, and you look and you look at the assassin in front of you, and it's like there's like multiple of him almost. You're taking a -3 to all rolls you make at the moment.
All right.
Now it's Jonah's turn. So Jonah is going to try and melt through this man's sword using fire magic. He's going to spend a little bit extra. He'll spend 2 extra, so it's going to be 7. And sure enough, he does it. So you notice that his sword begins to like glow. His sword begins to like glow, like red hot, and it begins to like melt through this this figure's blade, and it just cuts right through it, like, you know, a hot knife through butter, pretty much, as he just like begins to like drive it through the figure himself. All right. And with that, the first scene is over, and we're going to start back at the beginning. So I'll start us off with you guys. So who would like to make the first move?
Well, I've been, I'm going to throw a bigger fireball at the guy that is most menacing, that I can see clearly. I'm not going to
I got
hit
it.
someone else.
Okay.
And I'm going to put extra mana into it.
Okay.
In fact, well, it cost 2 last time, so I'm going to put 4. I'm going to square what I put into it.
Okay.
And I know what plus I have. Am I at a minus?
You are not. No.
I keep forgetting to put the slash.
What the heck? I don't understand why that didn't work.
No idea.
Try making the D lowercase, perhaps.
Oh,
That's all I can
that
do.
was it. Yeah, I used to do uppercase, and it doesn't like that.
If this works, that is like the stupidest thing. Wow. But it's 2d10.
Oh. Oof.
That is so dumb. It's 2d10 though, Bill. Sorry.
I know. I'm just trying to.
Michael dropped out.
Yeah, he had to go, unfortunately.
All right.
Hey, sorry to interrupt, but is there any way we can take a quick break? I need to help my friend deliver this cake for a few moments. It should be like 5-10 minutes.
We'll continue
before...
on. We'll continue on, and then I'll just have you go when you get back.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
I'll be back in a few.
Okay. So you attempt another bigger fireball, but you shoot wide, unfortunately, and it just like explodes on the wall of the sewer behind him.
Take that as a warning, asshole.
It was a warning shot. Okay. Trying to think here. So now it's their turn again. The one that attacked you previously, Torgwin, is going to go ahead and try to attack you again.
All right.
He does have a slight advantage over you because you are disoriented. So don't forget to do that -3 to whatever you would normally do. All right?
Yeah. So to hit you to 7 minus something. Is it? So I would need 2 stam. I mean, I did it before, so we're gonna do it again. Gonna expand some stamina.
All right. You dodge out of the way of the attack again as he just once more just tries to like stab his dagger into you. He seems to just be going like to kill. Like he doesn't seem to be wanting to take you alive or anything like that. That seems rather obvious from the attacks that he's making. So that's his turn. Now it's back to your turn, Torgwin. What would you like to do?
All right, I'm gonna grab my knife that I have with me and try to stab him in, basically in return.
Okay.
Where is it? So basically roll the accuracy of the knife.
Yes.
All right.
Nice. Very nice. So yeah, through your befuddlement, you managed to make a clean hit. Would you like to describe it, actually? You want to?
As I dodge his hit. I basically stab him in like in the side of his, like his belly, somewhere around that area.
Gotcha.
Just wherever I can land a hit.
Gotcha. And as you unsheath your dagger, the first thing you take notice of, it's not glowing, which is, probably a good sign.
Yeah.
All right. And as you sink your dagger into his belly, he lets out another grunt of pain, and you notice that the blood seeping out of the corpse is like pitch black. How much damage does your dagger do?
3.
3? Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. 6. Okay. So yeah, you stab into him and then probably like break off to put some distance, I'd imagine. Or if you wanted to stay there.
Well, if I can still do that.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Certain things are just presumed.
Like, I didn't think I could move after attacking, basically, so I don't know.
Yeah, it's all theater of the mind, so
Alright.
yeah, there's no like battle mat or anything, no set movement rules or anything of that nature.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, so what's gonna happen next is gonna go back to their turn. And here's what I'm gonna say. The assassin that is attacking, or rather being attacked by Jonah, is going to try to run away, pretty much. He's going to notice the odds are against him. He's going to try to get the heck out of there. He's going to use shadow magic to do it as well. And what the heck, he'll go ahead and he'll spend his mana because he's pretty desperate. So he just breaks off from Jonah, just like pretty much just runs like to the side of him. And as he does so, you notice that he uses presumably shadow magic to cause the shadows to deepen around him, and once again he's just cloaked in the darkness. You can't see him at all, and you can hear him running though at the moment. Alright. Kasha is not here, so I'll go ahead and I'll have Jonah do his move. He's going to turn on the assassin that you just stabbed, and he just yells, "Get out of the way!" to you, Torgwin. And you notice that he lifts his hand up slightly as a ball of flame, a really fucking big ball of flame, begins to like form, and he's just gonna like pretty much bombard this guy.
Well, I'm just gonna move out of the way then, if I can.
Absolutely.
Or do I have to make a roll?
No, you can get out of the way.
Alright.
Okay. Alright, so yeah, he thrusts his hand forward as this ball of flame just like flies out. To give you an idea, this ball is about the size of like your head, pretty much. It's a pretty big fucking ball of flame, right? And it just crashes into him and just like explodes. It actually explodes with like such violence and such force that it like blows this guy's arm off, pretty much. Right? And a good portion of the rest of his body too. Right? As he just like falls back into the sewer water. The last remaining assassin is going to try at this point to just escape. And yeah, he cloaks himself in the same sort of darkness and he begins to run off. Would either of you like to try to stop him? You can hear him, but you're going to be at an advantage if you try to attack him.
Wait, at an advantage.
I'm sorry, disadvantage.
Okay.
Important 2 syllables.
Yes.
Isn't it an important step to hold that disc into there? No, man, not being able to see your target makes it much easier.
Yeah, I was just a little bit confused.
Yeah, sorry about that.
All right. Yes, I would like to, but
But
I'm not sure. I mean, I could just cast Dispel Illusion again, just to clear their cloak, basically,
yes, you could definitely
so
do that.
that somebody else might freeze or otherwise entangle him. So I'm just... Where are we, dice rolls? It is 2d10 plus 9 because I rolled that wrong earlier. Would have been 12, and because I'm still disoriented, it's plus 9.
Nice. All right. So you're trying to dispel the illusion, pretty much?
Yes, I'm basically just trying to dispel the illusion again, just so... Well, Bakasha isn't here currently, so...
Gotcha.
Because my plan is that she's freezing or whatever.
Okay. Comparing that to
Like,
what he rolled, it's just not going to cut it. You tried to
Alright.
dispel the illusion, but it's sort of like the mana from your spell and the mana from his spell just clash together, and your spell gets canceled out. You can see it, right, as it just crashes together, and it releases this sort of like green aura for a split second, and then it just dissipates, and you know that your spell has unfortunately failed as he continues to run off into the sewers. Marcus, would you like to try and stop him, or you just gonna let him go, or what would you like to do?
I want to try to stop him, but fire doesn't seem to be doing it. And lying to him isn't going to work. I'm good at that, but
We mean you no harm.
no, I mean him harm. I'm not. Yeah, that's right. Though I could. I don't have. I'm going to try another. I'm going to try an 8-point fireball.
Okay. I mean, yeah, pumping more mana into it would definitely do the trick. That does give you an advantage.
Just make the sewer wall break down, basically.
Oh god. It's gonna collapse the sewers in on you.
And then collapse, yeah.
He's definitely not gonna get away from this. Oh, that's just... Oof, okay. Yeah, no, there's no way. I don't even have to roll. You fire off into the dark, Marcus, with all of your might, creating this huge fireball. But it seems that the shotgun blast that it turned into pretty much just wasn't enough to cut it. You blow a crater-sized hole into the side of the sewer wall, but you don't seem to catch anything. And it's not too much longer before their footsteps are gone. You can't hear them. It's either they are, staying really quiet somewhere in the dark, or they've just hightailed it out there. So, oh, wait a second. I did actually, 1 second. Bill, real quick. I just looked at your roll. And this was in the message that I sent you as well. When you add mana to a spell, like extra mana, that increases your odds of success. So for every point of mana that you add a +1 to your roll as well.
Well, that's 6 more points than I normally get, so that's 21.
21. Okay. Let's see. That would actually have a chance, I think. I'll just go ahead and I'll roll his defense. So it's 11 plus... Yeah, no, it's still not enough. So, yeah, you just blow a crater-sized hole into the side, and you send a bunch of stone shrapnel around, but you don't manage to hit anything. and it's quiet now.
Yeah.
You look around in the room that you're in. Jonah once more lights a flame. This time a little bit more intense, so you can see more around you. And you look around, but you see no sign anywhere of Takana. You also don't see any sign of, any sort of hidden entrances in this area. You look on the corpse of the one that was left, and you notice a few things. For one, the body is severely mangled. Like, Jonah blew a good portion of his right side off, and he singed a lot of what was left. And you can see from the the clothes that were burned off of his body. Now you get a good look at what this thing actually looks like, and this is no person. Their body is completely featureless. It's like you're looking at a mannequin. None of you have ever seen anything like this before.
Huh.
You look on what is left of their face, and you see a symbol etched into it. 1 second, let me just get this for you real quick. I'm going to send it to the general chat for you to take a look at. It's like a spiral encircled, well, of course, by a circle. It's kind of redundant, but you get the point. Spiral in a circle. You also, searching through the bit that remains of him, you find the burns and tattered remains of what looks to be a journal of some sorts. It's surrounded in sort of black leather. It doesn't look like something that a craftsman here in Circa would make. Jonah picks the journal up and he says, I wonder if this is what they took. And he opens it up and he begins to go through the pages that are remaining. And he calls the party over here he says, hey, come over here real quick and take a look at this. You go over, I imagine, to take a look at what he's found.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
you notice that it's written in a language that you cannot read, actually. Jonah says, I think that this is written in some sort of organ, maybe? I think, I've seen some of the stuff they've written before, and I think that might be what this is. And I think we're going to take a small break here while we wait for Kasha. And I will be right back.
I'm back.
Oh, well, we're going to go ahead and take a small break then. I'll be back.
Okay.
I'm gonna BRB as well, as long as the blood is gone.
Okay. I'm back. Are we all here? I'll take that as a no.
I'm here.
Okay. Kasha, Torgwin, are you guys here?
Meow, meow.
All right. Torg, you there? All right, we'll wait for Torg to get back, and then we will continue.
Okay, so what all did I miss?
You,
If somebody doesn't mind filling me in.
they finished up the battle pretty nicely. Two of the assassins ran away. One of them got blown to bits, almost quite literally.
Did the identity of the person with the dagger, did they ever figure out who it was?
Well, that's the thing. You look at the corpse now, Kasha, and I'll go ahead and I'll repeat the description since you weren't here. And it's unlike anything you've ever seen. It's not a person, it's a thing, almost. It's this, like, it's almost like you're looking at a mannequin. It has no features on it. You can't even tell if it's male or female or what it is. On top of its forehead, where its forehead would be, in fact, you see this spiral wrapped in a circle. I put that in the general chat if you want to take a look at it.
Okay. Let's see. Would it be possible to use my shadow magic to peer into its mind or something to find out who and what this thing is, or at least speak with its spirit?
If it were alive, you could definitely use shadow magic to interrogate it. Like, reach into its mind and try to discern some sort of information about it. But it is very much dead.
Alrighty.
You could attempt. Oh, you're back, Torgwin?
Yeah, I just came back. It's
Okay.
fine.
So
I just came back to the recap.
Okay, gotcha. Jonah had called you over, and he took out this from this thing's belongings. He took this like burned and tattered journal from its corpse. And Kasha, you immediately recognize that journal. That's very similar to the journals that you and your tribe have for keeping logs and that sort of thing.
Okay. Upon seeing it, instead of grabbing it, she's like, "May I please see that for a moment?"
And Jonah looks over to you. Well, sure. I think it's written in Orcan. I can't make heads or tails of it, so maybe you can. Well, I'm sure you can if it's written in Orcan. And he hands the journal over to you. And
She takes it and starts looking at it.
Okay, you take it and you start to take a look at it. And on the very first page, what remains of it, you see written that this is the property of Rocash Darkfin, diplomat of the Darkfin tribe, and acting member of the assembly. And then there's a disclaimer of, if this journal is found, please return it to its owner. And you continue to flip through the pages, I'd imagine looking for some sort of a hint as to what might have happened to Rocash. And as the entries go on and on, Over the past month, you notice there seems to be a sort of like paranoia beginning to take your brother. Like he writes about how it's very cryptic as well. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. It's between it being partially destroyed and between the sort of sudden sort of change in your brother's mindset. It's very very difficult to make out. But it's talking about how time is running out and how something is closing in.
Does he mention anything about what this something might be?
The part of that journal is destroyed. Like it's burned too much for you to make it out. And Jonah, he looks to you and he says, well, I probably shouldn't have used that fireball, huh? And he sort of like does like a literally kind of like an awkward smile where he sort of like shows his teeth, but it's not really a smile. He's just like, yikes, I goofed. It's that sort of look on his face, right?
Oh, yeah. She just stands there for a few moments and just takes a deep breath. What is done is done. Unless somebody can rewind time and fix the book, it is what it is.
Marcus, as you are taking all of this in, as the mystery is deepening around you, you think perhaps someone at your school might actually be able to like help you. You're not sure if they will, but they might be able to help you out a bit.
Somebody at the school might be able to read this book.
Oh no,
Certainly we can't.
Sorry, go ahead, my bad.
Certainly can't throw it away.
She's like, definitely not. This was my brother's. The information we're seeking on his whereabouts may be within the destroyed pages. So, any possible help to get this book fixed is any bit of help that we need.
And
Can we?
Go ahead, my bad.
Can fire be used to try to repair fire?
Like fire damage, like
Pages in a book.
I would say not quite. You could possibly use like air magic, the time aspect of it, to rebuild it.
Well, somebody at the school might be able to do that. Yeah, so we can't throw these pages away.
Yeah. At this point, Jonah he talks once more and he says, that's not a bad idea. You're from that what mage school, right? I recognize.
Yeah, there are a lot of different studies. There, people might be able to reconstruct this using a number of things.
Do you
I
think?
can't pretend to know all of them. I'm just an apprentice.
And Jonah, he asks you, do you think they'd be able to make any sense out of what this thing is? And he gestures to the body on the ground.
I hesitate to suggest that we carry it around and bring it back to them, but that's actually the logical thing to do.
I'm sure the guards are on their way, probably, if that Flug was able to find them and if they were willing to believe him. I'm sure they would, given the circumstances of what's going on in the city. We'll be able to transport it discreetly to the school. Do one of you want to help me carry this thing?
Yeah, I mean we should, and then so we will.
Okay. So Jonah grabs its legs and he leaves the what remains of the upper body to you. It's like missing an arm, so it's kind of awkward to hold.
Yeah, but I mean, if we drop it, it isn't going to complain. We'll pick it up again. Not like carrying somebody to an ambulance. This guy ain't going to be healed.
Isn't that true? And you begin to take it up to where you entered into the sewers from, being ever vigilant that there might be more of these things in the area. I'd imagine Torgwin and Kasha sort of, watch guard in the shadows, just making sure that nothing's going to jump out at you. And you reach the exit, really the entrance that you came into. And above you, you hear like a screech, like, "Ah! I've returned, friends. Are you? And you look up and you see Chorus looking down at you, and he like his eyes just like lock on to the body that you're carrying, and he's like, what is that?
We have no clue.
And you hear several people behind him. You can hear like their armor and weapons just like jangling, as well as their like footsteps through the snow. And they help you back up to the surface, along with what you have found. They also help you to discreetly transport the remains of this creature, whatever it might be, to the school, to the Scolo Arcano. And you arrive there. What you see is this just gigantic tower. There's like a ramp leading up into it, like a sort of like a stair ramp hybrid kind of, right? And you notice this glowing gem sitting right above the door, and suddenly this very loud booming voice, it sort of like grumbles at you, and it speaks to you specifically, Marcus, and it says Marcus, and it's like the tower itself is talking to you. Why have you brought these outsiders here?
Okay, I didn't know it was forbidden.
That's fair. I'll say that you probably thought that given the circumstances, it would not have really mattered.
It's an emergency. There's been killings, and there are beings that are beyond my ken around. And I thought we might have to help the town because, well, without it, the school doesn't have a town.
Master Brock, as you know him, he considers your words for a moment and he says, "Very well. For this moment, we will allow these outsiders to enter. But I will warn all of you, I am always watching." And the doors leading into the tower creak open. Currently, there's not very many people here at the school. You guys are actually on like a winter break, but there are a few of the masters and some of the students who like actually live in Circa present here. So you make your way in, and you are greeted by, I'll say, an Alf. In fact, you know him, Marcus. Of course, this is your teacher, Master Umbris. He's an older Alf, sort of like going bald, and like all of the Alf, he has this sort of like jutting horn coming out of his head. It's like pitch black in color, and he looks at you for a moment, his arms and his sleeves, and he says to you, "So then, I heard the conversation that you had with Brock. Can you tell me what this emergency is, exactly?"
Well, people have been disappearing. And one of the people who disappeared is fairly important. And then when we were looking for him, and at that point it did not constitute an emergency where I'd want to involve the school. I'd feel right about involving the school. Then we found this thing, which none of us can identify, and a book that we couldn't read, and the book pages are burned. And I think only at this school can we find the information we need to continue trying to help the town.
He looks at you for a moment. Master Umbris does. He closes his eyes and he like shakes his head up and down. He nods. I think that you made the right decision, Marcus. Very well. Very good. Very good. Very wise of you. So, you said you found a body, a creature?
We brought it with us, didn't we?
You did, yes.
Yes, it's here.
Let's...
It's in better shape than the book, but we still don't know what it is.
Well, let me take a look at it then. And he goes over, you know, the guards that are escorting you guys, they lay the body down. They had it on like a stretcher, almost, covered up in a white sheet. He goes over and he removes the sheet, and he takes a glance at it. And he seems almost unfazed by what he sees. But he says, perhaps in remark to the damage done at the body, he says, "Was this your doing, Marcus? This damage? Not that I'm trying to scold you or anything, I'm just curious."
No, I wasn't able to harm it. One of the other people did.
And
I
Jonah...
don't want any credit. I don't want any credit I don't deserve.
Jonah speaks up at that. Yes, sir, that was me. Sorry, I didn't mean to mangle it that bad. It was just an emergency and, you know, the heat of the moment and all that. And your master sort of takes a look at him for a moment. He says, "You would be wise to try and restrain your power in the future. It's dangerous. And I can tell you have a bit of talent about you. As for what this creature is, I am uncertain. I've never seen anything like this before. But I do recognize this symbol on its head." And he sort of like taps the symbol with his finger. "That is the symbol of Kantra, the queen on the absent throne, the mother of all demons." How
Oh,
curious.
good.
How very curious. I wonder what this could mean. When you found this creature, I assume that it attacked you? That's why it's in the state that it's in?
Yes, it attacked. Well, it didn't attack me personally, but it attacked us.
Did it say anything? Do anything else?
Not that I could hear. Did any of you hear it say anything?
Jonah, he
No.
speaks and he says, "Well, no. All it really did was like grunt in pain and yell and sound honestly kind of scary, to be perfectly honest. But it didn't say anything. I think, well, I mean, it's pretty much confirmed. It broke into the diplomat's house, the one that's gone missing, and it took his journal, of all things. It didn't take any of its valuables or anything like that. It just took the journal. That was all." And Umbris considers this for a moment. "I see. How very curious. As for the journal, I might be able to help you with that. Let me see it for a moment."
Of course.
Yeah, what's up, Kasha?
Does Kasha still have it, or did she give it back?
You have it. Do you let this man see it?
She hesitates at first and looks him straight in the eye and's like, "Please do your best."
Well, I am one of the best. Not to toot my own horn, though. And he gently takes the book from you, and he goes over to a nearby table. He puts it down on the table with a soft plop, and he seats himself on a stool nearby, and he like hovers his hand above the book. I'm going to try and, well, turn back the clock, so to speak, to repair it. And he begins to cast a spell. One moment. Say he spends 3 points and he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, jeez. Okay. And you watch as at first it's like sands, like tiny little particles begin to like envelop around the book, and you slowly notice as the burned pages of it begin to sort of like creep back in and repair the book. Umbris has this like intense look of concentration upon his face as he just focuses in on this. And after about a minute or two, he takes his hands back. He grabs a hold of the book, steps off of the stool, and returns it to you, Kasha. There you are. I hope that perhaps it will lead you to some sort of clue concerning whatever is happening in the city.
She takes the book back and bows in appreciation, and starts flipping through the book up to the page, up to the destroyed pages, and as she's starting to scan back through the book, is there any way to see if her brother may have put some type of magical message within the book, or any hidden pages?
You could try to use, shadow magic or potentially radiant magic to try and discern that.
I think I'll go with shadow magic since that's my strong suit.
Okay, go ahead and make a roll. It'll cost you 1 point of mana to do that.
Okay.
What do you need? Do you need your numbers? Is that okay?
Yeah.
I forget you're on a phone. Give me 1 moment. Okay. You're gonna be rolling +5. If you spend more mana, besides the 1 that is necessary, then you'll gain a higher bonus.
I'll use just 1 more extra mana, and that's it.
Okay, so then that'll be a +6 to your roll. Okay. You try to discern about whether or not there's any sort of hidden message within the pages of this book, and it seems that there is not. You look for anything that's perhaps hidden underneath other words or hidden in some sort of code, but you're not able to discern anything. It seems that your brother trusted that since the book was by his side and in a place that he knew where it was at all times, that it would be safe. How wrong he was.
Alrighty. She'll go ahead and continue reading on from where she left off.
And you read closely, and it reads, "There is a darkness closing in on Circa. I can sense it in all directions, watching in all directions. I have to stop it." So, and then it reads, "Time is running out. I think that whatever this is, it's coming from," and he writes the slums. but I'm not sure where within there. I plan on taking an exploratory look. I cannot inform the guards of what is occurring. I fear that word may spread that whatever or whoever is planning might catch wind of what has happened, that I'm onto them. And that's the last useful entry that you find.
Alrighty. Yeah, as she's reading it, she's reading it aloud so everyone can, so everyone will know what was said.
So
Any opinions on this, guys?
Jonah, he puts in his input. So he didn't tell the guard because he was afraid that whatever this darkness is might catch on. But I don't understand that. Why would he think that?
In the journal, it did say the darkness is watching. Maybe whatever this darkness is might be possibly have the ability to look through people's eyes and listen to see what people see and hear what they hear.
I see.
But why would he write it down then? That's basically the same thing.
Umbris, he speaks. Perhaps he didn't intend on losing the journal. Could be as simple as that. Or perhaps whatever is watching isn't... Perhaps it's not watching in the way we think. Those who are versed in shadow magic, well, we can sort of do a act, if you will, a facade. We can think one thing and appear in a completely different light, if we're talented enough. Maybe this diplomat intended to leave this as a clue, perhaps, just in case. I really can't say for sure, though.
As she looks at Umbris and says, "My friend, are there any local legends about any type of locked away evil shadow entity or anything of the likes in the area?"
Well, given that this creature that you've brought me appears to have the symbol of Contra etched onto its skin, I suppose. It's almost like a tattoo, really. I find it very likely that perhaps someone who is an adherent of their faith is behind this. But I have no idea how they could pull something like this off. This isn't the work of any shadow magic that I'm familiar with. And I'm, well, again, like I said, I'm one of the most talented practitioners in the world. But if demons are involved in this, well, that's probably not good news.
Definitely not.
So what will you do now, then, I wonder? You found yourselves in quite the mystery, haven't you?
Well, my brother did mention the slums. Or maybe we should start search.
Kasha, you're breaking up really badly for some reason.
Right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
She's like, my brother did mention the slums. Maybe we should start looking there.
Perhaps.
Well, yes.
Well,
If it's
go ahead.
demon, and if it's a demons, doing, we should or need a way of maybe sensing them.
Well, it is possible, but by the way, Bill, there's like a lot of background noise for some reason. I'm not sure what's going on.
No, there's people moving around in my house. I can't really do much to them.
Okay, I was just not sure what was happening there. Okay,
I mean, the door to my room's closed, which keeps out a lot of the noise.
gotcha. It seems to have quieted down now. Continuing onward. If demons are involved, well, it's possible that you might be able to sense them, but doing so might draw unwanted attention to yourselves. I would tread carefully. Truly, if I were you. Demons are a very nasty lot to involve yourself with. I speak from experience.
I unfortunately do too.
And at that, Umbris looks over at you specifically, Torgwin, and he says, "Really? What sort of involvement with them have you had, I wonder?"
Well, I don't really want to bring up the memory, but
And at
it
that,
was my own wrongdoing.
as he hears you speak those words, he sort of like flinches for a moment, reflexively, and he says, "There's no need to say anymore. I can hear well enough. It must have been
Thank you.
hard for you, huh?"
It really was.
I'm sorry to hear that. But let's focus on the matters at hand, not in the past. So I take it then that your next step will be you investigating the slums then.
It is our only lead so far, so might as well.
Be careful. I wish you the best. If you had any other questions for me or anything of that nature, I would be glad to assist you.
You've been more than enough help, my friend, and it is much appreciated.
Of course.
If you're ever in need of any help, send word to my clan, and I'll be on my way.
I see. Well, if there is nothing else that I can currently assist you with, I would have to ask you to please leave. We are very secretive with our work here.
That is understandable. Guys, shall we go back to the inn and come up with a plan?
Jonah speaks and he says, "I think that that other Pandoran, what was his name? Gemini wanted us to meet him at the Peace Tree, if I can recall correctly." It's also getting kind of late, so maybe we should go meet there, discuss what we know, and then, formulate a plan from there. What do you think?
Plan would be good.
I agree.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, let's check. Let's check at the tree first,
Okay.
and we will see if he's there already.
And I think that we're actually going to call it there for tonight. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and stop recording.